during South by Southwest at the TechTainment Lounge, I had the chance to sit down with Jennifer Bullard. She's the chairman of the Austin chapter of the Independent Game Developer Association. She let me know what she's doing to build the gaming community here in Austin, Texas. Let's check it out. I'm here with Jennifer Bullard with the Independent Game Developer Association, the Austin chapter of that. Thank you so much for coming by the TechTainment Lounge and
thank you for having me.
Talking with me. Today we're talking about the convergence of technology and entertainment during South by Southwest 2013, and you have quite a background in working with game developers and game companies. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. I got my start in the industry about 15 years ago on a lark.
On a lark?
On a lark,
okay.
Yes. I didn't really think that people would make money making video games. Turns out I was wrong, fortunately for me. And I've learned how to make money making video games. Moved to Texas about 9 years ago, this July, so I've really enjoyed the Austin area. It's probably one of my favorite places to live in the whole world.
Did you select to move to Austin for gaming, to work for a game company here?
Yes, I came here to work for NCSoft. I was working with John Van-Caneghem and Richard Garriott, and I really enjoyed that.
So, could you tell me a bit about the game community in Austin? You know, as we're talking about the convergence of technology and entertainment, and Austin is one of the epicenters for that. Well, why is that going on here, and kind of what is the game scene here?
Okay, so the game scene here is pretty varied. Got started in the early 80s by Richard Garriott in Origin Studios, and now it's expanded. We have about 7,200 developers in the Austin area alone. We're the second largest state in the union for game development. Last year we pulled in $1 billion. So for a scrappy little industry with no publisher, that's a really good number.
And so the Independent Game Developer Association, did I get that correct?
That is correct.
So you're the Austin chapter of that, and that's not a regional, it would be an international association?
Yes, it's an international association. They have giant groups in Tokyo and in Montreal, across Europe, some in South
there's
America.
Over 7,000 members in Austin.
Yes, there's over 7,000 developers in Austin.
So how many game studios, game companies are in the Austin area?
Anywhere between 125 to 150, just depending on the up and down cycles.
So since I started playing games on a PDP 1170 like years ago, where they had just a teletype kind of thing, playing adventure and then dungeon. Games have come a long way since that time. And there's all of these consoles, like the Xbox and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And now there's all these things on like iPhones and iPads and all of that. And there's big studios and little studios and Angry Birds. And what's your view on it?
So my view on it is, everybody says PC is dead, console is dead, PC is dead. The reality is none of them are dead. Console market is saturated. It's not expanding anymore. So we like to say when something no longer expands, therefore it's dead. That's not true. It's going to be the size it was, maybe a little bit larger, and then it's going to stay about there. The people that want to play those games are going to continue to buy those games. Madden is going strong after well over a decade. And the people that are playing Madden, whatever the number is, don't even know who Madden is. So it's a franchise, it's going to continue to play. Same thing with things like Call of Duty and Halo. Those are just not going to go away. But what is changing is the lower barrier to entry into video games and the distribution channels. It used to be $5,000 a seat, and that would be per employee to get into that market.
Or to actually have the tools to do the development.
To have the tools, that's the baseline tools. That's not even all the tools. That's just to get the piece of hardware from Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo. Now, it's a couple $100. I pay a license, and that's for my whole company.
Right. Well, I met the GameCell a couple of years ago, and it's like this platform to where it's like you don't even have to know how to program, and you can put together an iPhone game app.
Yes. And so tools like that.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, all of the tools development, the hardware, all of that is making game development accessible. That has created a little bit of churn and burn because people try to get in who just don't know what they're doing. On the other hand, it means that an independent studio can get started up, and if they do have a good idea and they do have the ability to execute on a business plan, they can accomplish something and become the next, whatever they want to become.
For technology and entertainment, I find gaming really, really fascinating because it seems like the games that are the ones that I connect to are the ones that where somebody really great stories. So you have to write a great story. You have to have great music. Then you have to have all this great visual presentation of all of it. Is that a reason on why a place like Austin or LA, San Francisco would be places to where game development is so popular, because you have those creative type people bringing those things together?
Yes, video games is a cultural language, so you have to be in the culture. You have to be able to tap into people who have visual arts, people who have auditory arts, people who have technology backgrounds. None of this stuff works unless you have a server back end that's just managing all of the data and pushing all of that. And if you want to grow your business and you want to really work hard at it, you have to even gather more data. But if you don't have audio inside of your game, it sounds really bad. As a matter of fact, the best audio is the audio you don't realize is there, because it's the footsteps, it's the door closes, it's the eerie sounds, it's the breeze.
Right?
It's exactly like a movie. And it's the same thing with the animation. The best animation is the animation you don't notice. It's the natural walking movements, it's the natural head turns, it's the naturalized movement that happens throughout the game. And we immediately can tell when it's not right, but we have a hard time noticing when it's perfect.
Is there a difference between an independent game studio and I was at the 3G? What's the big game expo out in LA? E3, that's it. I went to E3 last year, and it's just like gigantic and these huge, amazing exhibits. How does somebody that's independent or small compete in that whole area?
They don't. That's the short answer.
They compete in a different area.
They go in a different area. They go someplace where they can be noticed. The AAA studios have their markets really well locked down. There'll be a few people who will get in over time on accident, but unless you want to actually get into that market, you're going to spend millions and millions of dollars to do that. Some of those E3 demos are $5 million for a 2 or 3 day show. So unless you can compete at that dollar level, you can't get in. On the other hand, that's not where the largest gaming platforms are. The largest gaming platforms happen to be on this tablet.
On the iPad?
On the iPad. On any tablet device, especially if you go global. Once you start getting out of the US markets, it's even more predominant in other countries.
Then it's any kind of tablet.
It's any kind of tablet, whether it's something by Apple, something by Samsung, something by Sony, something by Microsoft, on a tablet, a mobile device. If you think about a city dweller's life, they don't have a lot of time sitting in a car, they have a lot of time sitting on a train. So they're on the tablet, they're looking for something to do.
Right. So for Austin, what do you see are the opportunities for people that are really interested in game development and publishing of games, creating of games? What are the opportunities for them, and what is the opportunity that actually the city of Austin has, and what should they do?
Okay, so I'll answer the first part of your question first. If you're an independent studio, the first thing you want to do is look for an open market. Who is not playing something? Who needs to play something? Who wants to play something but can't get in because the price tag is too high? As an independent studio, you have the ability to undercut larger companies and hit markets that are underserved. So that would be my first advice, is look for an underserved market. It's very straightforward. And there's a lot of new platforms, and if you really want to make a console platform, you can still go for something like the Steam Box or for Ouya. These are new, smaller, less expensive platforms to get on, and they're soon will be in everyone's home, because those companies are going to work really hard at it, and the developers like the price tag. What the City of Austin and the Chamber of Austin should do is support game development. There's a couple of things. There's the Texas Moving Image incentive. They need to make sure that stays where it's at. It shouldn't be cut. And the second thing that they need to do is they need to support the creative incubator. We really need one in town.
All right, can you tell me about a creative incubator? What would that be?
So I'm working on one. It's called the Texas Creative Incubator. And what I'm trying to do is work with a variety of groups to build out a way for developers to learn the business vernacular, and for investors at different stages to come in and learn the industry well enough to make smart bets. I mean, all investments are in many ways like a Vegas bet. You put money down and you're going to spin the wheel and hope it comes out successful. What we're going to try and do is improve those odds. And we're going to try and work with the studios, provide them mentorship. We're going to provide them with the right type of tools, the right type of guidance in order to get them onto the platforms that they need in order to be successful.
Well, that sounds fantastic. I would love for Austin to have a creative incubator like that.
I would too, actually. I would have liked one when I tried to start my company a couple years ago. That would have been great.
Well, thank you so much for coming by the TechTainment Lounge during South by 2013.
Thank you very much
Really
for
nice
having
talking
me.
to you.